say we love the alcohol, la 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 la. Just line 'em up and we will drink them all, la 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 la. Well, my mother always said, if you want to drink all day, you best start in the morning, son, 'cause that's the Irish way. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every other mother will agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, and every mother best agree. We don't get drunk, we get awesome, so order up around for you and me, and you and me, and you and me. Let there be whiskey.
Hey, everybody, welcome once again to Nerds with Alcohol. I'm Russ.
And I'm Chris.
And
you,
this
and
is...
You completely cut out your mic again.
Did I blow it out?
Yeah.
This is... I tried to keep it on the little lower side this time. This is episode 445 here in the Virtual Nerd Basement. Welcome once again on this lovely Tuesday night here in the Virtual Nerd Basement. It is July 7th. Hope everybody had a lovely 4th of July weekend in this horrible hellscape that is the American public right now. That being said, it's a lot of that is said in fun and in jest. Yes,
no, it's a hellscape.
It is in many ways, but I am a proud American. I am proud to be American. I am just very, very
I hate that
upset.
fucking song, by the way.
I am proud to be an American. No, I am a proud American. I am, but I am also very disappointed in what has been going on in our country the last couple of years. Hence that statement. But I do hope you had a good 4th of July. It was a lovely weekend.
Everybody got all their fingers, everything like
that.
Yep,
I still, as far as I know, I will say,
I hope some of the assholes in my neighborhood blew some of theirs off because did it sound like a goddamn war zone.
Dude, I think it was worse this year because power was out for so many people that there were a lot more people out on the streets and just, celebrating, having parties. For those guys who don't know, a massive short-term storm rolled through Detroit on Friday.
Just before our game.
In the evening, just before our D&D game, like at 6:30, 7 o'clock.
Okay. We lost power
through this town.
It actually caused us to delay the start of our game by about 15 minutes because we wanted to make sure that power was going to stay up and let the storm roll through because we had a severe thunderstorm warning until 7:45.
Right.
We normally start at 7:30, and I mean around 7 o'clock. I was up in the kitchen getting a drink and stuff, and Renee and Pete were up there talking, and the wind started going, and I'm watching out the back, and it's blowing shit over in the backyard, and the straight line winds. I mean, it was enough. The winds were strong enough that I was concerned that it was actually a tornado. That was they weren't swirling though, but I was almost like, all right, everybody in the basement, go.
Yeah,
because it was
just ripped through the city of Detroit. I was driving around on Saturday for a while on the 4th. I did a body paint, and I was coming back from my photographer's studio and kind of took a circuitous route because it was like the freeways were kind of the freeways were open, but from where he is at, it was easier just to come through come down 8 Mile, and then I just kind of drove around through some of the Detroit neighborhoods, and I was seeing old growth trees that had been ripped out of the ground and broken in half. Trees that were probably upwards of 100 years old that were just destroyed. Oak trees that it was unbelievable. I saw one tree that covered an entire, fell down and covered the street completely.
Yeah,
and
I saw that in front of my parents' house.
And that was on
about 30 years ago, but
yeah, I think that was definitely on Saturday. I think so. Power has been there's still people out with power. There were still people out with power yesterday. I think possibly some people that were still out today. But because of that, I think there were a lot more people out in the street. And I mean, Detroit doesn't need a reason to throw a block party. That's for damn sure. Um, but it was just insane, like just the sheer number of
See, we had power
like
here.
local fireworks.
We
Yeah,
had
we had
power
power as well.
here in my neighborhood, so that's not
I,
what's to blame. It's just people not giving a fuck about their neighbors because they were going till like almost 1 o'clock in the morning.
oh yeah, no, I was hearing fireworks until at least 2 o'clock in the morning on the 4th of July,
Yeah.
at least.
Hey,
And
cheapo.
so yeah, it was really insane. Yeah, I did a body paint with Russ Turner on Saturday afternoon. Turned out really great. Very pleased with it. It was black light themed, so we had I used a lot of black light body paint for it, and it looked pretty good. Pretty happy with that. And then like I said, I kind of drove around for a while. I came home. Stella came home in the later evening, and we just chilled. It was a very kind of mellow 4th of July. Sunday, same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Kind of just slept late and chilled.
We spent well, we had the game Friday night. We had the dogs down there with us for that.
Mhm.
Then Saturday night we were in the basement with the dogs with the TV turned up and the white noise generator turned up. And the dogs were, and Trevor still just sat and stared at the windows in the basement just because he was so stressed out.
Yeah, I do feel for the dogs, man. I mean,
I feel
like
for
it's one
I
thing.
feel for pets and vets.
Yeah, for sure.
The vets that are suffering from PTSD don't deserve to have explosions going off in their neighborhood.
Right. At least though, the veterans that are dealing with that can also, they may be dealing with PTSD, but they're also can rationalize on some level. Okay, I'm not in combat. That's not that. Yes, that explosion is somewhat triggering, but it's not. They can still. Some of them can. A lot of them can still at least rationalize it out. Dogs don't understand.
Yeah.
They're just scared, you know? And Dresden is a basket case. He snapped at two of my friends at my model on Saturday, Epona, and my friend David, whom he has known since he was a puppy, and has been seeing around the house a lot more recently. It was just like, because he was just so anxious and freaked out. And yeah, it was really, it was rough. It was really rough. So,
Yeah.
I am glad that it's over. And it's one thing to have like like your city fireworks that
Yeah.
when they're going to happen.
They happen for half an hour.
They happen like for roughly a half an hour to, like maybe as much as 45 minutes for the really big ones. But roughly, yeah, about a half an hour because they're expensive. The fireworks on that level are not cheap. A city may spend $1 million or $500,000. A small city may spend, at least a good $500,000 on fireworks for an event. And like the city of Detroit for their big fireworks that the parade company puts on, I mean, I'm guessing it's several $1 million, for that fireworks display. And it's just incredible. So anyway, so it's one thing to have that scheduled event that you can plan for. You can plan to, try and have your dog give your dog some downers, put them in a thunder vest, whatever, prep for it. It's this neighborhood bullshit that drives me crazy, you know? So,
Yep. Other than that, how was your week?
Other than that, just prepping for my trip next week to Mansfield, Ohio for the Incarceration Music Festival. I'm going to be vending at that event. I know that I'm on the schedule. I know I'm on I didn't get an email saying, "Hey, there's problems here with your contract or anything." So I know I'm going. I haven't got my load in email, which will probably come tomorrow. It's just one of those like, "Hey, here's the, just what you got to do and we're loading in, blah 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 blah." It'll probably come tomorrow. If it does, I may have to email him, go, "Hey, don't forget about me," because I'm still kind of new. But it's a little annoying because the communication on their end isn't the greatest. I sent them an email for, hey, here's my contract, and then another email for when I paid the fees. Here's the fees. Here's the receipt for the fees. To show that I paid. And not even okay, thanks, we got it. It doesn't take much. In fact, you can even just have AI write that for you. And I mean, hell, I think Outlook even will have like quick options where you can just click on things and it'll go, okay, thanks, and send you a response email. And this guy that I'm dealing with just is not really very communicative. And it would be a great deal. It would help with my, anxiety of being you know, a contracted, vendor, to just have the, okay, great, we'll see you in a couple weeks kind of email. But so I'm prepping for that. I did get some bad news on Sunday. My friend, I found out on Sunday night, well, Saturday, Sunday, very, very late. I found out my friend Deborah Jackson Deckert from the Renaissance Festival has since passed. She was 71. She's actually younger than my mother, a couple years younger than my mother. She was an old school Rennie. She was the lady mayor for a number of years at the beginning of my career at the festival, and then went on later on to found the stage show Ample and Trite with my friend Lisa Marie, who is quite a bit, substantially younger than Deborah. Deborah was was very much kind of a mentor figure to a lot of us. She was kind of a mom figure to a lot of us. Her daughter Katie worked with me at the front gate in my early years. She was like 6, 7, 8 years younger than I am. She was like 16 or 17 when I ran the front gate when I was 25. So I think maybe 17. And so I've always been tight with that family, and it was very upsetting to hear that she had passed. I'll be going to her viewing on Friday. They're having a viewing for her on Friday, and so that was a bummer. I've been a little down the last couple of days, just kind of reminding whenever a longtime friend passes, particularly one that's a little bit older. It reminds you a bit of your mortality.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a bit of a bummer. But yeah, just we did a lot of at work. We did a lot of like last minute. We were under the gun with um, deadlines for these smaller floats that we were getting out for some local parades and for Port Huron, not that local, but so local to Michigan, and then another parade that happened in Plymouth. And then we also finished off a couple things for the Cherry Festival float that we sent off today for Traverse City. So right now at work, we're kind of for me particularly, where I'm at a bit of a kind of a quiet spot. We just started production on the float for the zoo, so it's going to be maybe a week or two before I see some major sculptures and stuff coming to me. So I can kind of take it easy. It's kind of nice that I've got my out of town gig next week because like I said, it's kind of a quieter time for me right now. And then probably by the time I come back from Ohio, there'll probably be a few things ready for me to start working on. How about yourself? How was your week last week?
I mean, other than the shit show of the fireworks over the weekend,
Oh, and the
that
ridiculous
went into
heat.
Monday. Yeah. Oh, yeah, and the
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous heat. Yeah.
No, there was
Uh,
some fireworks still on Monday too. Yeah,
which is actually against the law. Someone
it is.
actually in our Fraser group posted it saying, "Hey, just so you know, it only goes till the 6th. The law states that if
Mhm.
you do them after that, outside of that window, then you can have up to $1,000 fine."
Yep.
Um, on top of the several thousand you probably paid for those fireworks. But anyway, yeah, get off my lawn. Yeah, yeah. I just don't like them. They bother my dogs, and it's a nightmare for me. I don't enjoy them. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, other than that, went out on was it Sunday, and watched. Met up with a friend from curling, and we watched the England Mexico World Cup game. That was a really good game. England won, and they beat them in Mexico City, and then stayed home last night to watch the USA Belgium game, and the results were pretty much what I expected, and that was Belgium really
Yeah, I was
completely outplayed the US.
I
The
was
US
gonna
just
ask you if you had
looked like shit.
yeah, I was gonna ask you if you watched the game. I mean, it was like 4-1. I think we lost 4-1.
3-1.
3-1. And what was the deal? Because people were freaking out that Donald Trump made a phone call about
Yep.
a red
So
card.
so in the previous game, one of the US players got a red card. Red card is a serious infraction where you are ejected from the game. They cannot replace you. So they have to play a man down. They play with 10 instead of 11. And you get an automatic 1-game suspension for the next game. You can't play in the next game.
Okay.
Trump called the president of FIFA and basically said, "Hey, come on, guy." That it was
Did he get it reversed?
he got it reversed.
Unbelievable. Wow.
So a lot of the Belgian players were pissed, and actually one of the things I didn't actually pick up on it till somebody pointed it out. When Belgium scored their third goal right near the end of the game and won, all the Belgian players went down into the corner to celebrate, and they all did the Trump dance.
Yeah, I heard about that. There were actually there was footage of them in their locker room doing the Trump dance, that he does. And they were dancing to YMCA, because apparently Donald Trump.
Yeah, that was when he
I'm jacking off a couple of large men.
Yeah, that was what he did when that was the song he used the first time he did it. Yeah. But yeah. So I'm looking forward to the rest of so actually all 3 host countries are now out. Canada got eliminated as well, so all 3 host countries got knocked out in the round of 32. Or the round of 16. And then I think Canada might have gone out in the 32. But anyway, they the US players they played like absolute shit. And the third goal is completely on the goaltender. He came out to play the ball, he misplayed it, and Lukaku made him pay. He's the striker. He used to be on Chelsea.
Well, it doesn't really surprise me so much that some of these other countries are going to kick the shit out of the American team, considering the fact that America doesn't prioritize soccer.
Yeah, well,
Not
they
at
don't.
That level.
No, they don't. And yes, well, they're like, oh, this person plays for the MLS, this person plays for the MLS. The best MLS team is maybe the 3rd league down in England. I wouldn't even put them at Champions League. I think they're definitely not at Premier League level. They're not the same level. But it's also, this team is extremely young. The US team is very young. They may have a chance in 4 years. We'll see if they can keep the team together. But overall, though, Belgium just played outstanding. There are a couple lulls, but I mean the U.S. at one point they're in their own box, so there's a 16-yard box around the goal, and the ball's in there. 3 U.S. players around it. All 3 of them start to go at it, and all 3 of them stop like, oh, I'll let you get it. I'll let you get it. I'll let you get it. And the Belgian player walks up, takes it, and scores.
Okay.
It's like that. You can't make mistakes like that at the World Cup. But anyway, so I'm rooting for England for the rest of the tourney. Want to see them. We'll see. I'll root for them. I'll actually root for Belgium too. There's some players on there that are former Chelsea players that I like. And then what else did I do? We had our game on Friday. That was good. Just had a big fight. Brought Bob back and then had a big fight.
Well, it was a good game.
Yep.
It's a long fight. It took
Yeah.
up a large portion of the game, and it was
We
one
went
of
late.
our longer fights.
Yeah, we went.
like-
Yeah, we went late too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were playing against a healer. You kept healing
Right.
yourself.
Yeah. And it was like, I mean, it only went like 6 rounds, but it was still like, damn, it took a while. And the funny thing is, when you really think about it, like, you know, in a combat situation like that, I mean, it was like less than a minute that at all of that.
It was
shit
probably
went
about a
down.
minute because I think you guys went about 10 rounds.
When we went less than 10, because I remember, like, um, Renee was keeping track of the rounds because of her spell that she had. That was only 10 rounds, whatever spell that was.
The
some spell
moonbeam.
that she had. The moonbeam spell, right?
But she lost concentration on it, so she stopped tracking.
Oh, that's right. So yeah, it maybe went about it. Okay, you're right.
I think it was right about 10 rounds. So it was right about 1 minute.
It's just hilarious though that everything that happened to us happened within like a minute.
Yeah.
And it's that time differential kind of stuff that it's wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff, right? When it comes to D&D. It's one of those things that's always a little off for me, for my money.
Champions is worse.
Pardon me?
Champions is worse.
Oh yeah, Champions way worse. If you look at like in the Dungeons and Dragons movie, they showed very much how combat could take place relatively quickly. You're throwing spells off pretty fast. You're shooting off arrows. You're doing strikes with weapons and moving around the battlefield fairly quickly. I still think it would happen a little slower. It would, but it's not far off. It's just it's a little off-putting sometimes. But still,
Yeah.
a great time and a great fight, and we did actually survive it. We beat the hell out of it. We got the hell beaten out of ourselves, but it was still a really great time. It's a good fight.
Yep.
It was challenging.
Yeah. And then but other than that, it was pretty much the same type of week. I'm still working on getting things set up for the business. Remember, we are sponsored now by Nerds with Alcohol is sponsored by Drinking Nerds Entertainment.
Yeah, our own company.
Yeah.
Your own company.
Yep. So but yeah, so anyway, yeah, other than that, not a lot. I'm feeling kind of crappy tonight. I had dinner and then just started feeling like shit. So I think it's just being tired and worn out. So.
I can dig it, man. I'm kind of wiped out myself, like I was saying, but I was doing a little research here online before we came on, and I was just getting drowsy, like I don't know if this happens to me a little bit. Like I think more than anything, it might be some level of eye strain. I think if I look at my phone or whatnot for too long, I start to it starts to get my eyes start to get heavy,
You are getting sleepier and sleepier.
I think I need blue blockers or something because, looking at screens and shit. Not that I spend a whole lot of time looking at screens. I'm not working on computers all day, but I do think
I've got some blue blocker glasses that Renee got me. And I had trouble using them. But anyway, so what are you drinking?
Tonight, just drinking some strawberry juice, man. I just wasn't really feeling the alcohol tonight. And,
yeah. I almost went the route of no alcohol myself, but then I'm like,
whoa,
but then we'd be
that's pretty rare for you.
But then there'd be it'd be nerds with no alcohol.
Yeah, that'd be a weird night.
Yeah, but instead I went with this lovely yellow Orchard Thieves.
Orchard Thieves, nice.
I'm like, I can drink that. That'll be. It's apple juice. That's all it is.
It's just apple juice. That's all. Yeah, yeah. We don't actually have a whole lot in the house right now too. So I was like, nah, I will forego the drinking tonight. So, well, that being said, we should just kind of get into it. I mean, Orchard Thieves is something we've reviewed a number of times.
Yes, it's delicious. It's one of my favorites. Oh wait, CD. There was a time IPA. Drecker Brewing Company, 4.25 out of 5, 6.9%. This is pretty damn good. This is a pretty damn good juicy IPA. Goes down fast. Hey, Darius, well done, Trump and the lads. You've irreproochably damaged the World Cup. Mission accomplished. Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Um,
What a
so
scumbag.
but on the same notes of current events, did you hear the news?
Which about
That Mitch McConnell is supposedly brain dead.
Brain dead, yeah. They're keeping him on.
I mean,
life
he's been brain
support.
dead for a long time, but
right. The going. What they're saying is he's on life support, and his wife is currently in China. That she went to China
after he
3
went to the
days
hospital, after
he went to the hospital.
Yep.
And they said that she's staying there because if she can, because she has power of attorney, and if she's the only one that can pull the plug. And because, like I said, he's brain dead. If they keep him alive, he still is technically in his seat, and they won't have a special election.
Yep, he's one of our senators, Darius. That's who he is. He was the leader of the Republican senators. Now, one of the things I saw today. So, and one of the other issues that they have is that so the way Kentucky is, their governor doesn't get to just appoint someone to the seat. I thought they did. But no, with the way Kentucky's is, it goes to an immediate special election, of which they figured that Thomas Massie would run for the seat. Now, Thomas Massie is a Republican congressman who just got ousted from his bid for re-election by a Trump-backed candidate because Trump doesn't like Massie because Massie pushed really hard for the Epstein files. Come on.
Yeah. And I think he spoke out against Trump and
yes, he's been a thorn in Trump's side. Trump doesn't like him. And they say that Massie could very well win that seat as an independent even. If McConnell keeps his seat until August 3rd, after August 3rd, then the special election doesn't happen until the regular election.
Right, correct.
It just becomes the regular election. So, but Thomas Massie has no pity. He is not holding back. He made a post on X trolling McConnell.
Oh yeah.
He said,
there's been a lot of calls for like, hey, we deserve transparency in our elected officials. If he is incapacitated, we should know about it. And they're all keeping very, very quiet. It's horseshit.
Well, Massie's tweet or his X post was, "Is America ready for my term limit legislation titled 3 strokes and you're out?"
Oh my God. That's funny. 3 strokes and you're out.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, they're saying that so I saw someone else post saying Republicans are all up in arms about, dead people voting, but dead people can keep a Senate seat warm.
Right, exactly.
They're okay with that.
This isn't the first time this has happened. There was an older lady, I think she was also a Republican, that had been in the hospital for like 3 months. She hadn't been back to the Senate to do any voting. I think all of her voting was being done by proxy or something like that. And then they found out that she'd been basically catatonic in a nursing home for like months. And I can't remember who it was. I can't remember what her name was, but this happened a couple years ago. And this was like, what the actual fuck? And this is why we need age limits on our elected officials.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are calling for that there should be age and term limits.
Yes, absolutely. Age and term limits.
Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on what Darius is saying because I missed the British news. I know that the one guy that John Oliver talked about did get elected. That they were saying that they were saying they would probably push as the next prime minister. But I've been trying to keep abreast of that because the whole Nigel Farrar thing, if he were to get into power, that would cause a shit ton of issues over there, from what I was hearing. Like
Well, there's also
like
been
secession of.
oh yeah, there's also been a big book just recently. I think it's called Regime Change,
Yeah, we
and
talked about that
it's
because we
yeah,
talked about that
that's
before it
right.
came
We
out.
did. We talked about it last week, but I saw some clips from it, or some people like were posting some Instagram page posted like 10 or 11 really big kind of things out of the book, like just facts that people were like,
Yeah,
"Holy shit!"
I still want to
Like
read it.
something, yeah, oh yeah, for sure. That's something about like how Trump had a basically a yelling fit with Benjamin Netanyahu, saying, "Everybody hates you. I've been backing you. I've been backing you. I'm trying to help and everything, but you have to make peace with Hamas. You have to accept this next, peace overture because I can't do it too much longer or whatever the fuck it was." There's a bunch of things that are coming out in that book that are pretty damning for Donald Trump. And I'm not usually one to pick up those kind of books,
Yeah,
but I
you
may
told
pick up
me
that
when
one
I
as
was talking
well.
about it, you told me that I would have to read it and tell you about it because you didn't want to read it.
Yeah, probably. But now that I've been reading a little bit more about it, I might, since Stella works at the bookstore, she could, get me a copy for pretty cheap. But it's just like part of the reason why I don't think I want to read it is just depress the living shit out of me because of the state of this country
Well,
that
it's
we're
just
living in.
confirming things that you already know, most
Oh,
likely.
for sure.
But
And just the absolute ridiculousness of this current administration.
but yes, um, I don't wish death on anyone, but I will raise a glass to Mitch McConnell. May you rot in hell, you bastard.
Mm-hmm. You're not the first person that I've heard say that in the last 24 hours. Like I've seen a lot of people either write, post that, talk about it, mention it, say those similar
He's
words.
he's a large reason why we're in the state we're in now in
Yes.
this country. He's
Yes.
one of the main people that's responsible for.
Well, because he basically in a lot of ways he manipulated the situation so that something like Donald Trump could happen. And obviously it did. And he's
Well,
such a screaming
he's
piece of
also
shit.
responsible for at least one of the judges on the Supreme Court because
Yes.
he oh no, we can't let Obama make one get one approved. It's too close to the election. Nope, 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 nope. But the same thing happens with Trump, and they're like, oh nope, we got to rush it through, rush it through, rush it through, rush it through. That's the kind of bullshit I think is I hate that kind of fucking partisan politics.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it was the Democrats, I would hate that.
Mm-hmm. No,
Um,
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, he is a horrible person. There's a lot of people that, like I said, because that's the other thing. Donald Trump, he's like a bull in a china shop. He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
no.
You know, there's a horse in the hospital. Um, he he doesn't really know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't know the damage he's really done in a lot of ways. He's completely oblivious. McConnell knows what he was doing and
Hmm.
has known for a long time what he was doing. He he was very aware. He utilized the system. He worked the system. He was a career politician,
Yep.
so he knows exactly what he was doing, and he's a screaming piece of shit because of it.
Yeah, he is, Darius. He's the one that took the high court judge appointment away from Obama.
Hmm. Hmm.
Nickname, yeah, Supreme Court. Yep. Yeah, he's nicknamed the turtle because he looks like a turtle coming out of its
So
shell.
it's been like turtle watch and
Yeah.
shit like that.
Yep. Yeah. The
So yeah,
reporter that initially reported it also reported that he's brain dead and she's staying at the hospital.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, it's wild that so much of this like actual real news that we're not getting from the traditional sources. The actual like we're finding out through Instagram posts and Facebook posts and shit like that. That's how we're actually finding out the truth about what's going on in a lot of places, because because it is one of those places where I do almost agree um with the right, where you can't trust mainstream media anymore. And that's really scary,
Mm-hmm.
because you could trust 60 Minutes, you could trust the evening news, you could trust Nightline for the longest time. And I think in some ways you still can, because that is real reporting. But a lot of these things aren't that we need to know about are just not being reported upon, because the government is either hiding it or they are just not allowing it to be anybody to speak about it, you
Mm-hmm.
know? And so it is taking some of these brave,
Well,
less affiliated reporters to basically speak up and say, this is what I know, man. So,
yeah, but those you have to still vet, because
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
they could just be, a couple of guys with a low rated podcast
Right.
spouting, shit. I mean, we could say things all we want, but it doesn't mean
No,
it's
no,
true.
absolutely true. Absolutely true. It still has to come from a vetted, viable and respected source, but it's still, you know, and some of them are. Some of them are coming from, decent sources that have history or whatever. So, it's one of those things that I was talking about it at work actually the other day, about one of the saddest things about our culture. I believe what has happened is the fact that people have lost faith in the truth.
Yep.
Like
And
they don't want to believe experts anymore.
Trump and the Republicans had a huge
Oh,
part in that.
absolutely, absolutely. The fact
Fake
that
news, fake news, fake
fake news,
news.
fake news. It doesn't. Anytime Donald Trump heard something he didn't like or didn't believe, it was fake news.
Yep.
And that started. I'd have to say. I mean, it was before this, but it got really bad during the COVID era, when Fauci spoke up and was like, "These are the things we have to do." The leading expert in infectious diseases in the world basically said, COVID is dangerous. This is what we need to do to protect ourselves. And Donald Trump called him an idiot. Basically, said he was a quack and all these other things. This is a guy that dedicated 40 years of his life to, studying infectious disease. And this guy is now a quack. Instead, he's listening to Dr. Oz, a television personality,
Yeah.
who really is a quack.
Yes.
You know. So, guys, we need to remember that to listen to the experts.
Yes.
They are the experts for a reason. If they
Mm-hmm.
went to fucking uh, Harvard Medical or wherever, Harvard Law is really, I think Harvard's a little bit more known for their law school. But if they went to John Hopkins, if they went to, any of these these medical schools and got the serious degree and spent the time learning, and it's okay to listen to them. It's okay. They know what the fuck they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
You sure you might want to do some due diligence, and you sure you might want to do some research on your own to maybe satisfy those curiosities or those things that where you're not sure. Do that research, but remember that these people are experts in their field for a reason. Um, because we got to return to that. We got to
Yep.
be able to trust people that are supposed to be doing their jobs. I can't tell you how often I hear somebody, oh well, the CDC is run by a bunch of liberals or whatnot. And you're like, no, they're doing their jobs, man. They're doing their jobs. They're hired to do that job. Let them do the job.
Yep.
Let them cook, as they say.
Yep. So, but we should move on.
Yes, we should. Donald Trump's an idiot.
Yes.
Again, the national state fair that he had was laughable. Most of the time, nobody was even there, or very few people were there until actually Saturday on the 4th. There was actually started to develop something of a crowd, but it's still, we have more people at the Renaissance Festival on a middling day than he had at his national
Well,
state fair.
and they had to evacuate due to
Yeah.
weather, and then that meant everyone had to leave the grounds, And then when they
And
were
they get revetted.
and then they had to get they had to go through all the metal detectors again and stuff again, which
Mhm.
makes sense. I mean, they could
Yeah,
go out and
but
get
it
something
pissed
and come back
everybody
in.
off.
Right.
It pissed everybody
And a
off.
lot of people were leaving in the middle of his speech. Now, granted, his speech was only 40 minutes,
Oh my God.
which is
But
short
that's
for
the
him.
thing. You're seeing that more and more happening at his little bullshit rallies that he still has. People leaving early.
Yeah.
Like I've heard it. I've heard it. It's the same thing. People being interviewed as they leave. They're like, yeah, I've heard it. I've
Well,
heard his, whatever.
oh, and so the other thing, sorry, back to politics real quick, because
Hmm.
this other thing that pissed off the Republicans was the housing bill that passed huge in both the House and the Senate, huge margins. And Trump had said he was going to sign it. They sent it over to him. This is something that the Republicans were like, yes, we can take this home over the 4th of July. We can crow about it. We got this done. This is going to help help Americans with housing affordability and things like that. Trump went, no, I'm not going to sign it until you pass the SAVE Act. That
Yeah,
is
and
dead.
people. Yeah, the SAVE Act has been dead.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been mulled over. It's been several times, and he's also looking at his big beautiful bill again. That is also complete garbage and has been said, nope, we can't pass this.
Yeah. The Republicans are like, we don't have the votes. We can't get this through because they don't even want it because it's going to hurt them as well.
Right, exactly. Again, he's like a horse in a hospital. He doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So, but yeah, we should continue.
Yeah.
I got us back on it. We should continue to move on.
So I've watched the first episode of House of the Dragon.
Okay.
Holy fuck, is that it's an hour and a half long. And it is a big ass battle.
I don't think it's quite an hour and a half. I think it was like 75 minutes, but it was still.
It says it's an hour and a half. It says it's an hour and a half when you look at it. Yeah.
Okay.
About. But yeah, it's a very long episode.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so it's a huge fucking sea battle.
Right.
With dragons and stuff. And yeah, I'm like, oh fuck at times, because it's Game of Thrones style, so people don't live.
Oh no.
But it was a hell of a fight, and lots of burning boats and like boarding parties and shit like that.
It was impressive. It was
Yeah.
really impressive because the way they filmed it, everything that they did, I was really impressed as to what they did and how they did it. It was really amazing.
Oh, well, okay. So Darius says he's just finished episode 3, and he thinks it's almost the worst episode he's seen. Even worse than the end, the end of season 8 of Game of Thrones, Darius, because that was pretty bad too.
Yeah. We're actually planning on watching the 3rd episode tonight after the show. So
you're gonna watch what?
We're gonna watch the 3rd episode tonight after the show.
Yeah. So yeah. So overall, though, I'm still we'll see how the show goes. It's really bad, to be honest, but I'm not sure it's if it's up with season 8. Yeah, season 8 was pretty bad. But it's close. Okay, well, that's good to know. They're doing this season, and then this is the last season of it. No, this is season 3. They got one more. It's season 4. They got one more season of House of the Dragon after this. And then but anyway, it's still a pretty show visually. And then I finished Vox Machina as well. The season 4.
See, now I haven't I just watched the 2nd episode last night. It's the one where they, because the first episode was centered all around Percy, and for the most part centered around Percy and Vexalia and their life, with a little touching on it was and then some stuff about Grog and
Pike.
And Pike. and introducing Taryon Darrington. And the second episode, like I said, was more um, about Keyleth and Vax and her Aramente, her finishing her
Hmm.
Aramente. And I was we touched on this a little bit, just you and I on chatting about it, and I season 4 is getting a lot of criticism because they're dealing with a lot of stuff that they didn't really do in the show, but they kind of hinted about it. Or they're expanding upon stuff that, because this is the time where they were all away from each other for like a year
Yeah.
after the Chroma Conclave, and so they're touching on
Ooh.
things they did that the characters did in that interim time. So these were not things that happened that we saw in the gameplay. And I'm kind of liking that. I'm liking that they're exploring, like, Pike and Grog just traveling around, kind of carousing and drinking, dealing with Vixalia and Percy, being aristocrats in Whitestone. We're also dealing with the fact that, again, this is a show based on a D&D game. You can't make it. There's no way it's going to be able to match up perfectly. It's inspired very much by the D&D game. So there are going to be things that are going to be different. My main, which I'm liking for the most part, but my main concern is that they're going to go too far afield and have a tougher time coming back around, because they've already been renewed for a fifth season. So we know
Hmm.
we're at least getting a fifth season out of Vox Machina. I wouldn't be surprised if they ended at 5 seasons, because they may not want to try and push it that extra 6 or 7. I would love to see. It feels to me like there would be a lot to wrap up in the next, like, because it's only an eight episode season. It seems like to me there would be a lot to wrap up in the next, rest of this season and the following season. So that's why I would like to see it go a bit longer. But I'm just kind of concerned that they are doing it. Like the kids say, you're doing too much. I'd like to see them circle back around and um and maybe, focus a bit more on what actually happened in the gameplay.
Yeah, they've kind of gone afield of that. I mean, they started, the first season was pretty much right on, and then they started kind of venturing off after that. It's
Yeah, the first season was spot on.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a few extra things that they threw in, because again, it's still, it's a show. They've got writers. Yes, they have the gameplay show to base on. So it's really more editing more than anything else, as opposed to actually writing. They're like, because they already have, or like the gameplay show the the storyboard,
Mm.
and they got to fill in the blanks, or they got to fill in the empty spots. But there's so much, though. They don't have a lot of empty spots. So, in fact, it's almost like there's too much, and they got to whittle it down, and then fill in the spots that are left after they've whittled it. So again, I'm liking it. I think it ended. I think the third season ended pretty well with the Chroma Conclave, but there is a part of me that also feels like, because I spent so much time watching it and living it in this game with them, it almost feels like it's moving too quickly.
Hmm.
So, I think
You want
that's
the
actually one of the
140
best.
episodes for them to cover the whole story? Like,
I think it was it 140? Because I think it was technically 140 episodes, but a few of those episodes were like the holiday episode, or what that were like, that didn't have it wasn't the main characters. It was like some side thing. But still, it's still quite a few episodes. And I don't know. I am still enjoying it a great deal. It's still a beautiful show. It's beautifully animated. It's beautifully drawn. The characters are well acted and well performed. Everybody's doing a great job on this show. It is going to be interesting to see how they end it, what they do, and I will be also very much looking forward to the second season of Mighty Nine because that one is maybe even a little bit.
That's right out the gate. It's off the rails.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. It's very different. I mean, it's very much more inspired by the Mighty Nine in a good way. I mean, for the most part they're doing it pretty well, but it is very much more so inspired by the. I think Vox Machina they tried to stick really close to it. And you know what we're doing too, just like we watched in the original show. You watched an evolution of that art form of doing a live action performative D&D game. We are now watching the evolution of adapting that to a show because I think Mighty Nine took some lessons from Vox Machina, the showrunners, and went, okay, we don't want to stick super close. We don't want to stick too close to the original to the original shows. We want it to be inspired by, we want to take a lot of those story points, but we want to do our own thing too. And I think that's why Mighty Nine is right out the gate more like season 2 or 3 of Vox Machina, you know. So we'll see.
Well, I figure we'll get one more season of Vox, then they'll retire that. We'll get, and then they'll continue on with Mighty Nine, and then they'll start Hell's Bells, and we'll get that along with the last couple seasons of Mighty Nine.
Right. It'll overlap.
Yeah.
And then what we'll see if they do Hell's Bells, which I hope they do, we will see a return. We'll see the crossovers. You know, we'll see Vexalia and Percy show up, and they're 20 years later or whatever. You'll see Pike.
I think it's yeah, because it's what. Well, Hell's Bells is like 40 years after, I think.
No, I don't think it's quite that much. I mean, Percy's still relatively spry. He's an older guy, but he's still not,
Well, what I do want to see them do in Vox Machina though, or not Vox Machina, sorry, in Mighty Nine, is I want the characters to continuously ask who's on the Taldori Council.
Yeah. Who's on the Taldori Council? I just hope that they hit some of the big moments. That's like I want them to.
I wanted to meet Keyleth's
in the
mom.
first season. Yes, I want them to meet Keyleth's mom. I want them to. They have to put in Jester casting modify memory on the hack.
Well, they're going to have to because that's going to be part of Not/Veth's story.
Right.
They have to do that story.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And in fact, I haven't watched it yet, but the wedding episode where Jester and Ford get married, the kind of the epilogue that they just did, I haven't watched it, but I hear there is some resolution, or I think possibly the hag might show up at the wedding, but I'm not sure. I haven't watched it yet. But I've heard some people like reference or rumors or whatever, non-spoilery spoilers of people referencing that situation at the wedding. So hopefully we'll see. It says
they're talking about The Expanse.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That's another show we got to get to. So
yeah, I've watched the first season. It's really good.
Oh yeah, so me too. I watched the first season as well. So Critical Role, Vox Machina, some of the best animated shows on television. I don't like to give it that caveat because I do think it is a couple of the best shows on TV, but there's a lot of TV. So I am going to say right off the
rip.
The rip there, that they are two of the best animated shows I've ever watched. And so I'm very excited and loving what they're doing. I truly believe we are in a true renaissance of adult themed animated programming right now with those two shows, with Invincible, with X-Men 97 with Rick and Morty and some of these other shows.
The new He-Man.
The new He-Man. Oh yeah, absolutely. He-Man Revolution and Revelation. Both just excellent cartoons. So we are, and then just so many of the other shows that you can see on Netflix and so many of the other streaming services. There's a plethora of really great
Save the cheerleader, save the world. They're talking Heroes
animated
now.
stuff.
That
Jeez.
Heroes was great for its first season. Then the writer's strike
Oh
killed it.
yeah. Yes, the writer's strike hurt it, and then when the strike was over, the original writers tried to come back and fix it, and there was no
There's no
it.
fixing.
Yeah.
Kind
Yeah,
of
the
like
fact
when you
that
hand a Star Wars movie to somebody else that doesn't like Star Wars, and then you bring the original writer back and he can't fix it.
right. So yeah, it was that yes, we've definitely seen that. So like again, we're seeing just some a crazy good original and animated content that is based on comic books and role playing games and stuff. We're seeing some incredible stuff. We're going to see a Firefly animated series real soon.
I'm looking forward to that.
Exactly. So hopefully it's going to be great. Moving on.
Yeah.
We should move on. So last week there was probably one of the biggest announcements happened that literally broke the internet. Last week on Wednesday, Sony announced that as of 2028, they would no longer be producing physical media for their games, meaning they will no longer be making CD or DVD based physical media for their games. And the internet exploded. There is currently a petition with over just a couple of days. They've already gathered well over 150,000 signatures to their petition to fight against this. People are flipping out. They're saying they're talking about the loss of ownership, continuing to talk about the loss of ownership of games. They are talking about how the secondary market will be absolutely destroyed, and that this is going to hurt gaming more than help it. Now, that being said, we knew this was eventually coming. The fact that PlayStation put out when the PS5 came out, the cheaper version of the system came without a disk drive because they knew that downloadable games was the wave of the future. That was the way people were going to be purchasing their games. Now, the fact that they did that, but then more or less. Now, the fact that they did that, but then also gave the PlayStation 5 kind of a shit sized hard drive was bullshit.
Yeah.
Now, they also, smartly enough, put expansion slots in your PS5. So, and it's relatively easy to just slot in another 2 terabyte or 4 terabyte, depending on how much money you want to spend, or even 8 terabyte hard drive if you want to.
Which
I myself
doesn't void the warranty,
and it doesn't void the warranty either, because all you're doing is adding an additional storage space. And on top of it, too, you can also plug in an external hard drive, which I have also done. Originally, you could only put PS4 games on that external hard drive and still run off that hard drive. Now you can put a PS5 game on that external hard drive, but it will probably load slower. So it is still recommended that if you're going to run a PS5 game, transfer it to one of your internal hard drives as opposed to running it off an external. Initially that first disk drive list, PS5 sold, but it was quickly eclipsed by the other model, which is the one I have, that has a disk drive. And they later did release because that, thinking ahead, that disk drive-less PS5 was available. You could upgrade it and buy a separate disk drive and attach it, which a lot of people did because it's also very useful as a Blu-ray, as a DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K player, which I use mine to play to do all my streaming of entertainment and to play my massive collection of movies on physical media. So people are basically saying that this is going to more or less destroy the physical market, for it. I mean, we also, like I said, we did see the writing on the wall. Video gaming for PCs they stopped putting out physical media for that.
I was just going to say,
well over a decade ago.
Dude, I haven't had an optical drive in my computer in at least a decade.
My current computer does not have.
Yeah, my current one doesn't,
drive.
and that's close to 10 years old now.
Mine is only a year old, and it doesn't. My previous one did have, but I bought it with it did have a Blu-ray drive on it, a reader. Actually, no, it did have a burner on it, but it couldn't read Blu-rays. It was CDs and DVDs only. So it was one of the ones that was one of the last ones that was still being, that in the store that still had it. It still had a great, a great video card and everything, but it was one of the last ones that still had that. I actually bought an external one recently just to have to access a few discs that I had that I wanted to access. So we knew it was coming, like I said, but PC gaming is different from console gaming. Console gaming, people like they like having their games. They like having the physical aspect of it because PC gaming is quite often in its own room, it's in a separate place, and we've gotten used to the fact that we have Steam and GOG and whatever else to buy our games through. And these are, systems these are companies that aren't going to go away. There's something about your console gaming being in another room, being either in a bedroom or in the main living room, where you can have your discs on a shelf. People can see them, the games that you have, and that you own them. That's your game.
My thing is that the issue I have right now, even with the game systems, not even so much that everything's going to be digital and you have to download it, anything like that, because even with the physical games, I own the game. I have the physical disc. I put the disc in my PlayStation. I want to play it. If my internet's down, I can't play it. That
depends on the game.
Bullshit.
It depends on the game. Some games
every game requires PlayStation access. They have to be able to reach out to the PlayStation store and verify that it's a legit copy.
I've had my internet go down and still been able to play a game.
I've never been able to play anything on the PlayStation. If my internet's down, it says, "Oh, nope, no internet connection, no internet connection."
I almost want to test it. I want to turn off my internet and see if it works, because I'm fairly certain I have had my internet go down and still been able to play something on my disc or on a disc activated thing. Now the other thing about it too is, and we talked about this a little bit last week when we talked about, I think it was last week when we talked about
this says you can, but I've had, I tried playing.
It may depend on the game.
Well, it says whether you play physical discs or digital purchases, single player campaigns will generally work without an internet connection. But I want to say I've tried playing Zero Dawn, and it's told me no internet connection, no play.
Well, that's the thing, Chris. It may depend on some games. Some games may still require you to have that, at least that connection. But Yeah, I'm fairly certain I've played games without when the internet is down. But I mean,
Yeah, this basically
I
says any game that's not a multiplayer only game or PlayStation Plus game. If you
mhm.
download titles via a PlayStation Plus subscription, you'll need to reconnect to the internet occasionally to verify your active subscription. But other things they're saying, once the offline feature is enabled, you won't need to connect. Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's just a setting. Most disc games are playable offline immediately, though some might require a brief online connection to download required day one patches or campaign.
Yeah, Darius, you're right. The PlayStation 3 at its inception, at its original cost more to make than they were making on it. But
Yep.
and you're right, they'll never do that again.
Which is why
It
I think we're going to have a problem with the PlayStation 6 because RAM is so fucking expensive right now
Yeah, I would not
that
be surprised if
the
the
next consoles
PS6.
are going to be
Mhm.
ridiculously expensive.
Well, the Steam box has been priced at over $1,000 American, and which a lot of people were very surprised for. I would not be surprised if the PS6 tops out at $1,000. If I end up spending the same amount of money on a game system that I spent like roughly on my computer, I actually spent probably more like 1,500 on this computer. So, um, it will be it's piece would cost I think around 750, and it'll be sold at a loss. See, I don't know if it'll still sell it at a loss though. I mean,
They
not
make their money
like
on
we were
games. They don't make
saying.
them on the
They
consoles.
do absolutely, and that's why the PS3 was the initial model of the PS3. They didn't make any money on that first. I think the first two models. I think it took at least to like that third or fourth iteration where they were finally actually turning a profit on the console itself, and they were making money on the games. Um, the new Steam box is like 1,500. I think it's closer to 11, Taliesin, but I'm
Uh,
not sure.
Depends. So
Modified Xbox with
the
500.
512 gig is going to start at 1,049. The higher 2 terabyte model is priced at 1,349.
Okay, was wicked, but they tried
And
to
if you
use
want
the
to bundle
flawed
it with a
Blu-rays.
Steam controller,
Right.
it adds $79.
Sure, of course. And yeah, PS3 was also a Blu-ray player. It was the first console that had that boxed in came in box with as a Blu-ray player. And so that was one of the things that also caused Blu-ray to top out over the HD DVDs that they were also trying they were in competition with. Um, we'll see how this plays out. I think they're going to regret this decision because like I said, the backlash already has been pretty bad. Trevor Noah, formerly of The Daily Show, did a whole big thing on it about the fact that there are a lot of people that can't afford to game the way they think people are going to be gaming. There was a reason why people would go and buy used games at the shop because they couldn't afford to buy those
Yep.
games at the first, at the get-go. Or they would borrow a game from a family member or a friend. That was the way you were able to, by buying that game and sharing it with your kid brother was how you got them
Oh, but
interested in the
that's
game
against the
too.
rules. They don't want you doing that. He's got to buy his own.
Yeah, no, that's horseshit. That's called owning a copy of anything. You would, if you bought
It's
it
against the EULA,
back when we
man.
were kids. Back when we were kids, if you bought a tape or a CD or an album, if you want to go back far enough, you could loan it to somebody and say, "Here you go. You want to listen to it." Now, if you want to talk about copying that onto a tape then you're getting into something of a gray area. But being able to at least borrow it for a while, that's the ownership of said thing. Like we were talking about, the Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't even in box. If you buy the box, you're just getting a box with a download code on it. You're not getting the game itself. Then you also
That's what I got
when you're
with Cyberpunk. It was just a
right.
code in the box.
See, I got a disc. Mine was a disc. But um, one of the things they also talk about too is the fact that when you get that game initially, more often than not, that game needs to be updated. There's almost always update,
Yep.
last minute
Day one patches.
fixes, day one patches, last minute fixes, whatever else that you get. So if you are playing that game straight off of the disc, more often than not,
Yeah, a
It's
lot of these
not
things do
quite
go back to
finished.
Apple, Darius. A lot of them do.
Fucking iTunes store started this. Like, yeah, no, absolutely true. The iTunes store. That's why I don't use iTunes. That's why I've
Yep.
never used iTunes.
I use
the only,
iTunes
actually,
I use iTunes to convert our podcast into an MP3 so I can upload it. The only thing I use.
oh, okay. The only time I've ever used iTunes was when I was working. I was a bar DJ, and that's what we used. iTunes was one of the ways we bought music for the club.
You were
Um,
you were a strip club DJ.
I was, but that was how sometimes if we had to buy music if some girl
Yeah, you
wanted
made
a
it sound like you
particular
were working
song.
at a dance club. Well, you worked, I guess.
Well,
you were working at a dance club, just a different kind
I
of
was.
dancing.
It was just a different kind of dance club. Do you see some idiot is pre-buying 50,000 copies of the next GTA, and he is an idiot. He is an idiot. If anybody, 50,000 copies at $79 a piece, what is he gonna do? That's the dumbest fucking shit. 15,000 copies. Apple bottom jeans. Yep. Well, that's stupid. They're certainly not going to have any problem with, like, you know, with like
Just a
supply and
code.
demand. You know, I mean,
it's just a
by
code. They don't have to.
they're just not in
Yeah,
a
it's not
code.
like he's going to run them out of physical copies.
The other thing that bothers me about it is the fact that we're still getting this. We're being priced the same way.
Yep.
And they're charging us the same amount that they would for the physical copy when I don't get a physical copy. If I'm not getting a physical copy, it should be cheaper. It should be at least $10 cheaper because I don't have the box, I don't have the disc itself. You know, it should be $10 cheaper at the minimum. I know that a CD doesn't cost a whole lot, and probably the box and the artwork that goes with it also probably doesn't cost that much, but it should be $10 cheaper. You know, if they're gonna charge me for a digital copy. Now there's also the people that talk about like, what if these companies go away? Well, Sony's not going anywhere. Just like Amazon too. If you buy something digitally from Amazon, it's probably not going anywhere. But it's still the true fact of the matter is I like to have the physical copy. That's why I have all of these lovely books and I don't have a digital reader. That's why I have I have DVD sets. This is where I keep a lot of my TV sets for my shows and stuff up on the top there. But I have some in the other room, and Chris has seen it. I think some of you might have seen pictures of it. My movie collection is in the living room, and it's fucking massive. So it is something that I love to have that.
Who has more, you or Kelly?
Kelly probably has more, but Kelly has more. We're pretty close, but Kelly has more of a very specific era of movies. You know, she was like the joke is if it's a bad movie from the 80s, she has it. If it's a really bad movie from the 80s, she has 2 copies.
Yeah.
She doesn't collect near as much as I still do. And I don't buy near as much as I used to either. I had to finally stop. I had to finally be a lot more judicious as to what I buy.
I kind of stopped collecting when everything went to streaming and I was just watching it on there. I'm like, I don't need to buy this right now because I can stream it.
Well, the funny thing is I'll always watch it the first time off of the disc, and then quite often if I want to just watch it again, I'll sometimes just pull it up on whatever streaming service it is. But I love all the extra stuff it comes with. I love the fact that you've got the behind the scenes stuff, and you've got like if you watch the Lord of the Rings DVDs, they have hours and hours and hours of behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I never watch that shit.
Stuff.
I'm always like, I'll watch that. I never watch it.
As a movie fan, it depends on the movie. If I really, really adore the movie, I will watch that stuff. I'll at least watch the bloopers.
I keep saying,
then
I'll
the
watch the
extra
bloopers.
scenes.
I'll watch the gag reels and stuff. But
the extra scenes and the bloopers for sure.
Yeah, but other than that, I don't normally watch any of the other stuff. Although I will say, 13 Ghosts, I did watch the whole history of each of the 13 Ghosts.
That was cool as fuck.
Because that was cool that they had a whole thing. Which I heard that they're actually going to be making movies about those ghost characters.
They've been talking about that for years, but I'd love to see that. That'd be really cool. Each of those characters, each of those ghosts in that movie, were a movie themselves.
Yeah.
There was so much cool backstory for each of those that could have easily made a movie for each of those 13 ghosts.
Now,
or at least the majority of them.
One of the things I've talked about doing is I've talked about watching movies with the director commentary or with actor commentary, that with the commentary track on.
You have to be a real.
I've never done that either.
Yeah, you have to be a real movie nerd to watch that shit. The only people I know that watch the movies with the director commentary are like the people that are super fans of a particular movie. Now, some of them are real cool. Like if you watch Big Trouble in Little China, you watch the director's commentary. It's the director, Carpenter, and Kurt Russell sitting there talking about it. It's pretty cool. If you watch the commentary that from the Goonies, it's all of the fucking Goonies, except for like Josh Brolin, I think, sitting there talking about the movie.
And it was probably just because he was busy, because he still gets together with them, and over COVID, they all got together, and
it was really fucking cool. In fact, Sean Astin had to get up and leave because he had to go and do some stuff for Lord of the Rings. And it's also pretty cool because if you watch it that way, it's a picture in picture. So you see a little picture, a little frame during the movie of all 6 of them as adults sitting there watching it. And then periodically it'll switch. And the main screen will be them sitting there watching it. And so that's a really cool fucking... I highly recommend that.
In Dodgeball, they leave halfway through.
Ben Affleck is the director's commentary of Armageddon. Is worth a go on YouTube. I love the extended version of the Master Replay.
Yeah, the one
Dodgeball, they leave halfway through. That's funny. That's funny.
The one that I've heard is cool is there's a few movies. I think Fifth Element's one of them, that on the Blu-ray they have a pop-up video track where little facts just pop up on the screen.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen that too.
Mm-hmm. And it tells you something about like the scene or
which movie?
I think Fifth Element's one of the ones that does that.
Oh yeah, there were a couple movies that were produced that way, that you could turn that on.
Yeah.
So if you're watching it throughout the movie, and a lot of people got really annoyed by that, so they stopped doing that. But yeah, no, there's a lot. That's one of the best parts about Blu-rays and DVDs. In fact, it's gotten to the point that people like that so much that if you do watch something digitally, you can turn on something like that where you can, it'll give you a moment, you can click on it and it'll pause the movie and then it'll go to some video that tells you about a particular scene or a particular special effect or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love seeing things about, when they interview Guillermo del Toro and he's talking about Hellboy 2 or whatever else, Some of those are some of the best parts about movie making, but I'm also a big movie fan. So not everybody's into that. This all comes down to the fact that it's going to go this way. It is going to go to the point eventually that that digital movies, digital games are going to be the way of the world. But there's a lot of people that are still
Music's
very
been moving
much
that way
against
for
it.
decades.
What's that?
Music's been moving that way for decades.
Right. I mean, it's the way it is for everything. It's going to be that way eventually, but I think it's still too soon. Particularly considering the fact that that PlayStation went the route of making sure the PS5 was backwards compatible with PS4 games, that you could play PS4 games on the PS5, and now the PS6 will probably not have a disc drive.
No, but if you own the game digitally, you can play it on there.
You could still play it. See, now that's the thing that's going to piss me off too, is like, if I've got a game in my library, but I only have it for the disc, are they going to allow me to download the game again and play it without having to pay for it again? Probably not. At the very least, I'll probably have to pay some sort of surcharge to also play, Spider-Man 2, which is a PS5 game, on the PS6.
Let's take a picture of the the barcode on the back and send that
Yeah.
in and register it
Or
along with paying another fee. And
yeah, they'll have to be, because that's the thing. There are going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, see, I have the game. I should be able to have it,
But then
So
if you
they're
give that
probably
game to
going
me, they won't let me register it because no, this is already registered.
right, exactly. So if that's the case, if they allow me to do that on some, and register the barcode, all right, that'll help. But because a lot of these games I purchase with the intention of playing again later on, and sometimes I do. I've played Cyberpunk 2077 at least twice. I've played Skyrim like all the way through at least 3 times. I've played Fallout 4 all the way through at least 3 times. Um, I'm planning on going back and playing The Witcher again and some of these other games. There's some games that I'm like, nah, one and done is enough for me. But there's a lot of games that I would really love to go back and play again and continue to play. Um,
My problem is I
and
don't have the hours to sit and play a game anymore that I used to, and I don't want to. I don't
yeah,
sit. I can't. I mean, I remember back in the day, back in my single days. Maybe this is one of the reasons I was single, but I'd
mm,
sit and play EverQuest for 12 hours on a Saturday.
sure, sure.
Get up in the morning, make some coffee, sit down, start playing, take a little break to go take a shower, take a little break here and there to get some food, but just sit there and play all day long. I got nothing else going on.
Dude, I mean, I used to play City Heroes for hours. When I was 30, I did 3 things. I worked, I played City Heroes, and I went out with my, at the time, girlfriend, ex-wife. That's all I did. I didn't. I fell behind in all in my comic book reading and anything that wasn't those 3 things. I barely played any other video games too at that time. In fact, I think that was when I did own a PS2 at the time, but I fell behind in a lot of my gaming for that on that console too. Um, I do not game near as much as I used to. I just am too busy doing a lot of other things. But I keep getting all these notifications on my phone that are coming through my computer too. Um,
That's why I don't have my phone and my computer linked. They asked if I wanted to, and I said no. I get enough notifications.
So,
So Darius mentioned the show Widow's Bay earlier, saying it's so damn dumb. But it's he can't stop watching it. So I looked it up. It's on Apple TV. I might have to watch it, especially now that I see Stephen Root's in it. Um, I am his Widow's Bay is so incredibly dumb, but I love it.
Stephen Root is in it.
Yeah,
He's good.
yeah, I like him. That's why I'm like, all right. He's in Justified too. So,
Yeah.
and I've been
Oh, he's done a
I've been
ton of
watching that.
stuff.
Yeah, Renee and I are on the last season of Justified right now.
I need to watch that. Well, wait a minute. The last season, because they brought it back.
They brought back for one season. They did a sequel called Primeval.
Yeah, doesn't it take
Justified
place in
Primeval.
Detroit?
Part of it does. It starts off in
Okay.
Detroit. There's a bunch of exterior scenes that are shot in Detroit, but nothing else is.
Okay.
He starts off in Detroit and he winds up in Miami. But
It's Widow's Bay. Is that what he said?
yeah, Widow's Bay. Yeah, and Expanse is way up there on the list. Farscape's way up there on the list. I've seen Farscape. Renee hasn't, but we watched the first season of that as well, and probably a few episodes into the second season. Renee absolutely loved
Apple.
that one.
It's Apple TV.
They really do make good shows, Darius. I've Ted Lasso I thought was really good. Shrinking is one of my favorite shows. Acapulco was a great show.
Yeah, Farscape was the best, dude. Farscape was the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everything, for the most part, everything on Apple Plus is good from what I understand.
Yeah.
I
want to see Slow Horses.
Can't.
Slow Horses is way up on my list because
it's getting some really good original movies.
That's Gary
too.
Oldman. So, yeah, there's some of that stuff in there. Um, Wait, like the
I just
Happy
can't.
Alien shows from
I
Breaking
just
Bad,
can't, though.
Pluribus. Yeah, I heard Pluribus was good. I haven't watched that one.
Yeah, I've heard Pluribus is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so it looks like this Widow's Bay show takes a lot of inspiration from classic horror movies, particularly
Yeah, he said
stuff.
it's like the Office meets True Blood.
Oh, God. A skeptical mayor leads the superstitious residents of a cursed New England island. All right. Have to,
Yeah, that's the other thing. So there's so many shows I want to watch, but there's
only so many
there's
hours in the
always so
day.
many hours. Yeah, it's basically a Stephen King book with the Office cast. Okay.
Right. Yeah. That's what it looks like
But yeah,
here.
so it's I can watch some stuff, I can play some video games, or I can work on my on doing my models and stuff like that.
Right.
And now doing the business. Remember, Drinking Nerds Entertainment for all
Exactly.
your koozie needs.
You bastard.
And you can even get Nerds with Alcohol show koozies. And we're doing custom game mats, and we got our game Race to the Button. So yeah, subscriptions don't get you out of those commercials. But yeah, Sopranos is another one that's on my list. I've watched the first season of that.
The Sopranos, one of the greatest television shows of
The
all
Wire,
time.
I watched the first season of as well, and I couldn't get into the second season. I really enjoyed the first season, but True Detectives, I loved the first season. Couldn't really get
True
into
Detectives,
the second. Couldn't get into the second.
Fantastic. Second season's not as good.
And I heard third season was better, and that fourth season was just banger again.
There's no fourth season.
Oh wait, yeah, there is.
There is. You're right.
Yeah,
that's the one with Jodie Foster.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's the last season.
No, third season, second season wasn't as good, but it was still okay. Third season was a return to it being good, and then really good, and then fourth season with Jodie Foster was solid. It was a solid episode or solid season. Sel and I got really into
Breaking Bad is also way on my list, way up on my list.
Oh yeah, again, well, we went over the top 100 shows of all time, according to I think it was Flicks or something like that. And it was one of the websites attached to Games Radar. And easily, Breaking Bad and The Sopranos are considered some of the greatest television shows of all time, and I have to agree with that. They both are absolutely fantastic. They don't have bad seasons. There's none of them are. It is absolutely just incredible. All of them. You need to definitely watch. Watch Sopranos, and this isn't me being biased because I'm Italian. It's just a fucking great show, man.
And there's a great reference to it in She-Hulk. Well, that's what Wongers is watching when Madison shows up, and she spoils it for him, and they start watching The Sopranos together.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. God damn it, that's funny. I gotta watch She-Hulk again. That's a great show too. All right. That's a good segue. Let's finish up. But so anyway, guys, make your voices heard. If you don't want PlayStation to get rid of physical physical discs, physical games, let them know. Sign the petition. It's probably not going to happen. From what I understand, they already have plans to convert their major processing plant where they make the discs at, a lot of the discs. The discs would churn out over 600,000 discs, I think, a month, something like that. They've already got plans to convert that plant into making micro lenses. I don't know exactly what that's for. I think they are for cameras and things like that. So they already have plans. I mean, that's the thing. This was probably in the works when they were producing the PS5. This is something they probably, like I said, it was evident that they were planning it. Interestingly enough, a couple of reactions though that have happened from this. There has been a run on the external CD-ROM, the external DVD reader for the PlayStation 5. There's been a run on it on the if you go to the website to purchase it, they've limited you to one per account. So there's a lot of people that are planning to replace their drive if it craps out. Me personally, there've also been people investigating, well, how much does a Blu-ray player or a 4K Blu-ray player cost? Because I use my PlayStation as my Blu-ray and 4K player. I'll have to buy something separate if my
They ain't that
PlayStation
expensive.
craps out. There was to get one that plays DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks, you're looking about $300, give or take.
Oh, they were cheaper than that 10 years ago.
That's the thing. They're not making them as much. They're not making near as many of them. So I looked them up on Amazon. I think the cheapest I saw was for like 200, but I don't know if it actually played 4K. I think it was just for Blu-ray. No, actually, that's not true. You can get just a straight up Blu-ray player for like $100, but if you want it to play 4K and if you want a nicer one, interestingly enough, Sony makes them. So
Yeah.
there's that. They've also
Panasonic 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray player, $180.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, so right around $200, we after taxes and shit, for a cheaper one. Sony has shut down commenting on all of their social medias and have not really made much in the way of any kind of social media post on Twitter, on Blue Sky, on Instagram, on any of their social medias since Wednesday of last week when they made this announcement. So it's been almost a full week and they haven't really made any announcements. So again, I think they are definitely feeling the backlash. I wouldn't be surprised if they do make some concessions in the next year because like I said, it's halfway through 20, so we got about 18 months left of disc production for the PlayStation. After that, gaming will only be available through download. The PS6 is gonna have to have at minimum an 8 terabyte hard drive on it. It's gonna be they're gonna have to make allowances for all of this stuff, and I really hope there is some way that they're gonna be able to allow us to register our existing games that we own, so that I don't have to rebuy Red Dead Redemption 2 for the PS6. So we'll see. Did you have something else? I've got something here.
No, I don't have anything. Well, you had the Supergirl thing too.
Okay, yes, a couple of things. So to segue in away from and to go back to the streaming. So Supergirl, it was announced today or yesterday, I think it was. Supergirl will be coming to streaming at the end of this month. It was released in mid-June. So the fact that it is already, actually it was later June if I remember correctly, the fact that it is already being scheduled to be brought to, I believe, HBO Max, because they carry all the Warner Brothers stuff, to be put up on streaming. You can also see that it's got, it's listed as a Blu-ray, purchasable Blu-ray on Amazon. It doesn't have the release date yet, but it has also already been put up there as well. The Supergirl movie has been a commercial failure, but it is been successful, or at least successful in the eyes of the audience and in a lot of critics. The critics have been a bit split. I think it was something like 60% last time I checked on Rotten Tomatoes. Like Supergirl kind of the critics were kind of split, but the audience score for it was still pretty solid. Let me see. I'm looking at it right now. So 54% from the critics, but 75% from the audience. 75% is a pretty good popcorn meter for the audience. Most people at least enjoyed it when it came to the audience. The The critics were pretty split about it, though. The thing about it is this movie does not deserve the venom it's getting from the negativity, the negative critics response. Um, I think this is one of those examples where people need to remember that a movie doesn't have to change the world. It just has to be entertaining. It doesn't even have to be entertaining in a good way. I mean, there are a lot of movies out there that are terrible that are still really entertaining that people love because they're terrible. The
Ice
only
Pirates.
thing a movie I would even say Ice Pirates isn't terrible. It's not great, but it's a fun movie. I saw that.
Super
I've got a
Fuzz.
soft, huh?
Super Fuzz.
Super Fuzz, so bad. Oh my god. It's funny that you brought that up. That movie came up on one of my Instagram feeds. I was like, holy shit! I saw this movie in the drive-in when I was
The
a kid.
Beastmaster.
The Beastmaster's awesome. Who said that?
Wicked
The
Kender.
Beastmaster. Pardon?
Wicked Kender.
Kender. The Beastmaster is awesome. The first one is the shit. The follow-ups were terrible. Beastmaster 2, where he travels to like modern day Earth, it had Kari Wurr in it. It's terrible. But the Beastmaster is a classic from that era. You said Wicked. Hello. Oh, Wicked Kender. Yes, hello. The Beastmaster is great. Super Troopers, or Supper Troopers, as Taliesin put. Super Troopers was a cult classic. It became a cult classic, and now there's a third one coming out. In fact, Super Troopers 2 was the first full-length movie to be funded on Kickstarter. There's so many of these older movies like that are not remembered for being good, but they're remembered for being fun, and that people need to remember that these movies, they don't all have to change the fucking world, man. And superhero movies, we have to remember this too. They're a fucking privilege, okay? The fact that they're making them are, in my opinion, that's a fucking privilege that we're getting these wonderful movies based on these properties that we know and love from comic books and television, stuff like that. Now, the fact that most of them, for the longest time, have been big moneymakers, you wouldn't think that they'd be a privilege. I mean, the fact that a Batman movie, generally, if a Batman movie comes out, it's going to make good money. If a movie that's got Wolverine on it, or Deadpool, or any of those kind of movies, or these days Avengers on it, it's generally going to make pretty good money. But as Chris and I have talked about, that people are being a lot more judicious as to what they spend their movie-going monies on. And Supergirl was just not it was not the right time for that market.
Flash Gordon. That's a great example.
Absolutely. Flash Gordon's fantastic.
Fantastically
terrible.
Awful. Yeah.
Yep. But it does it in such a great way.
Krull was awful at the end. But the rest of the movie
Krull didn't have
good.
a great ending, but it was a great 80s fantasy. Lady Hawk
came up on here.
Yeah, Lady Hawk.
Wicked Kender said Lady Hawk was top notch.
Darius, I heard they are making another good. They're trying to do another good RoboCop. So hopefully, where's the one that Sean Connery is in a Speedo? That was Zardoz.
Yeah,
Zardoz.
Yeah, Zardoz.
Mm-hmm. Honestly, like Highlander was a critical failure. It didn't make money. It became a cult classic. Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2. All of these. Big Trouble in Little China. So many of these movies.
Big Trouble in Little China, though, was made to be a bad B movie. That's the way.
Made, yeah. Carpenter made it to be that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was supposed to be overacted. It was supposed to be cheesy as hell. It was supposed to be cheap special effects.
Darius, Highlander is the Mutts Nuts. Mm-hmm. Would that be the dog's bollocks then as well?
Sean Connery is Egyptian, yes, with a Japanese sword. He's a Scotsman playing an Egyptian with a Japanese sword.
Yeah, with a Spanish name.
Yeah,
I'm not a Spaniard. I'm Egyptian. Yeah. And you,
Toxic Avenger. That movie was just
Toxic
horrible.
Avenger.
That was
Okay,
just
Toxic
horrible.
Avenger. That's a trauma film, and they are supposed to be bad. That they're made that way. Um, so anyway, movies, they just got to be entertaining.
Yeah.
They don't always have to change the fucking world. They don't have to, rewrite the game. They don't have to reinvent the wheel. It's Supergirl didn't. It was a solid B. I give it a good B. The friend I went with, went and saw it with Ian actually, and he gave it a C plus, and I said, I give it a good B. I think it was, the performances were really good. I had some notes that were very comic book oriented. There were ones that, these were like, I had some lore notes here and some things I didn't like about it. So Chris, when you see Supergirl, we'll
Well,
break
sounds
it
like I
down a
can
bit.
see it in just a couple of weeks on my TV. So
Pretty much, yes. I would still say it's worth going to the theater for. It was entertaining. Same thing, and we talked about this again too. The same thing with Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe doesn't have to reinvent the wheel. It was just an entertaining film, and unfortunately, it tanked at the box office as well. That one is also listed on Blu-ray and 4K on Amazon if you want to look it up. So anyway, Supergirl coming to streaming real soon.
well, now, so here's the
Um,
thing: is it going to be streaming like Google, where you buy the movie or rent it for like 20
I
bucks? Um, and you
Supergirl's
get
reportedly targeting a digital PVOD release date on July
okay.
28th, just over a month after its theatrical debut
So
on June
that's
26th. Following
that's the pay.
stand, following standard studio release windows, the movie is expected to arrive on Max for streaming between late August and mid-September of 26. So I
Okay.
wouldn't be surprised though. That the digital PVOD it will probably do fairly well
Yeah, I'm not
because
going to
there
do
are
that.
no, you might as well wait. But there will probably be a number of people that are just waiting to see it at home. They're like,
But
I
actually,
don't pay
speaking of
much.
movies that I really wanted to see and I didn't get to see in the theater that are now available for streaming on Prime is
Hail,
Hail Mary
Hail
Project.
Mary. Yeah, for free on Prime.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
I did not
that's
get the
way up
chance to
on
see
my
that
list.
either. I heard
'Cause
great
I've heard
things.
great things. I've heard great things about the novel. I've heard great things about the movie.
A friend of mine said that the movie diverges pretty close. It diverges quite a bit from the book,
Mm.
but not in
Is Hope
such a
Slop.
terrible way.
Oh, Darius said Hail Mary Project is Hope Slop.
Hope slop. Yeah, that's a pretty accurate term probably for it. Um, all right. So I had one other thing, and I know we're kind of you were feeling kind of down, so I
Yeah.
wanted to address this real quick before we go. It's about 10 to 10, so maybe cut out a little bit early. Because we started about 10 after.
Yeah, but
The
we
fact
don't we
of that,
don't have to go to 10 every time.
I know we don't.
This was supposed to be a 1 hour show originally.
No, it was supposed to be 90 minutes.
No, it was supposed to be
Right.
one. It was supposed when we first did this.
We're never going to be able to have an hour-long show. Not with the way you and I talk. There's no fucking way. The other thing I want to talk about too is that Xbox and Microsoft just did massive layoffs. Now, when we talk massive layoffs, this isn't like 50,000 people. But when you talk about an industry where we've got a bunch of computer programmers and people working on games and various aspects of Microsoft, when you fire 2.1% of your staff, that's a lot, and it was 4,200 people apparently. It says Xbox's CEO on the 3,200 layoffs, 4 studios cut, and her blunt warnings that we spread ourselves too thin. So I believe the 32, because I've seen two different amounts here. Microsoft cuts 4,800 jobs as Xbox units downsizes and plans to spin off 4 gaming studios. This is from CNBC. The other one is from Forbes. So 4,800. It says Microsoft laying off 4,800 employees immediately after carrying out a voluntary retirement program. The company's Xbox video game unit is cutting 1/5 of its staff. Holy shit. And 4 studios will go independent. This is interesting considering the fact that Microsoft bought up a bunch of studios, including ZeniMax, which controls Bethesda Studios. Microsoft stock is down 19% this year, trailing its megacore peers. They said Monday it is immediately eliminating 4,800 jobs, representing
Good
2.1%
night,
of its
Darius.
Workforce. Good night, Darius. Thanks for joining us,
Thanks
man.
for hanging us, man. Hanging out with us. I
In
know it's late there.
Yeah, super late. In the software giant's latest effort to cut costs in the area of artificial intelligence, its Xbox division will lose about 1/5 of its staff, including 1,600 jobs on Monday and additional cuts in the coming months. It says the way technology is built, deployed, and used is transforming faster than at any point in my time here. Amy Coleman's Microsoft's chief people officer and a 27-year company veteran wrote in a message to employees Monday. It's funny, Amy Coleman doesn't look like old enough to have been anywhere for 27 years. She's looks very young. Xbox will be cutting a total of 3,200 people. And the Xbox CEO Asha Sharma, or maybe Asha Sharma is the picture I've seen, wrote an email to division employees. Half of those roles are part of the 4,800 jobs being eliminated Monday, and the other 1,600 people will be exited throughout the fiscal year of 27. So there's some of them are leaving later. Their jobs are slowly being eliminated. I recognize that a year-long restructuring creates additional challenges. Unfortunately, it's not possible to make all the necessary changes in a single day. The cuts amount to 20% of the Xbox employees, according to a person familiar with the matter who asked not to be named in order to discuss internal changes. We will return to growth in 27. So there are some people that are saying that even though these positions are being eliminated and people are leaving, that there are probably some people will be rehired back later on, or could potentially be rehired back later on in a different position or as they restructure the company, or at least do restructuring of this type. This is, one of those things. I'm honestly not surprised. Microsoft got really big for their britches and still are, and still are doing that kind of things, buying up these game companies and just adding them to their fold. It says the Compulsion Games and Double Fine production studios, which Microsoft acquired in the 2010s, will become independent again. Sharma said Ninja Theory and Undead Labs, which joined Microsoft in 2018, have entered terms to join new ownership. Apparently, France-based Arcane Studios, which arrived at Microsoft through the $8.1 billion ZeniMax Media acquisition in 21, is in touch with its Works Council regarding strategic options. From what I understand, they are hanging on to Bethesda, and it has been said though that Bethesda will be focusing more so on their dedicated and their gaming properties that are known to make money, such as the Elder Scrolls and Fallout. So you're probably not going to see as much risk from that company, going forward.
Until
Arcane
those
Studios,
until those games stop making them.
Yeah, or tank or whatever, which it's highly unlikely. Fallout, thanks to the television show, is more popular now than it's ever been, and they've been spending. Rockstar spent $1 billion. We talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Rockstar spent $1 billion on Grand Theft Auto 6, and within a week made their money back, plus on just the pre-sales.
Yep.
I think they doubled their money.
They doubled their money on pre-sales.
Pre-sale.
Yep, that's what we said. Yeah, they have about $2 billion in.
Yeah, and that's not including assholes like myself that are going to end up buying that game after it comes out. So they're going to make their money back when they've already made their money back. When Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, when finally we see in probably like 28, when we see the next Elder Scrolls, if that game doesn't make more money than Grand Theft Auto, I'd be shocked. I'd eat my fucking hat, because people are clamoring for that game. Skyrim is still one of the most popular video games ever made of all time. And when they finally bring out the next one, it's going to be all over. It's going to be another one of those situations where don't release a game within a month around on either side of that, of the release of that game, because nobody is going to be interested in it. So, anyway, it's just interesting to see, like, how again, this is also, a lot of this has to do with, apparently, with AI. and how AI is affecting the way people are doing their jobs for Microsoft. So fuck AI. That's what I always say. So that was it.
Okay.
There, at least what is, I do find it interesting that some of the game companies that basically that they acquired are now they're saying, okay, we'll let you guys go. We don't need you guys. You guys can go. You guys can go back to being independent. We can't afford you anymore, or whatever the fuck it is. Arcane Studios, I think they did. It was distributed by Bethesda. This they did two games that were like not steampunk, but oh man, they were really good too, and I'm blanking on them right now.
What which company?
Arcane Studios. They did not Disloyal. It's
Dishonored?
Dishonored. That was it. Arcane Studios. Yeah.
Yeah.
They did
Yeah,
Dishonored 1
I've
and
got the
2.
first Dishonored. Actually, I think I got both of them. I started playing it and I stopped. Because
Yeah, they
it's
were
again,
good.
I'm like, I can't sit and play video games for hours anymore. I feel like
Mhm.
I feel like I've wasted a day now when I do that.
Arcane or Dishonored, they did Dishonored 1 and 2. Arcane is actually currently working on the Blade video game. They did
I
Redfall, they did Deathloop,
yeah.
Prey, some pretty good games.
My problem is a lot of these games now, when you play them, I feel like I'll play for 4 or 5 hours, and I don't feel like I made any progress in the game.
Yeah. There's
And that's a problem for me. That's where I get bored with games because I'm like, if I don't feel like I'm moving forward, like if I have to do all these other things like build houses and shit like that, I don't want to have to do that.
see, I like that aspect. I like that part of
No,
a lot of those games,
no,
man.
nope. That's a
It's
waste
one
of
of my
time.
favorite. That for some games, it's one of my favorite. I mean, I buy games specifically for that kind of thing sometimes, but I mean, I like that artistry.
Yeah. You want to play the
So.
Bob the Builder game, that's fine. But I want to play, hack and slash, give me
In
shit to kill.
Fallout 4, one of the coolest parts about that game is building a settlement
Nope.
and then having your people
Actually, one of the things
live
I
there.
didn't like about Skyrim was the whole house thing where you got to go back and store stuff and shit like that. I don't want to have to do that.
Well, it's more than likely Fallout or Elder Scrolls 6 will have a building system much more similar to like the Fallout 4 building system, where you can actually like place walls and build them and place them and actually make your house, as opposed to where the house is kind of pre-made and you just define which rooms are which. Um, so everybody has their own tastes, so that's fine. But uh, I will admit there are definitely times when you're playing a game and you're like, man, did I even do anything? That's how I feel
Yeah.
a little bit about when I'm playing Dragon's Dogma 2, which I'm really enjoying. It's a cool as fuck game, but I'm like, I'll go and I'll do like 3 missions, and I'm like, did I even progress the story here because there are so many side quests and so many little things to do, and they still take time.
Yep.
But I never felt that way about The Witcher. When you're playing The Witcher 3, I always felt like there was always. It's another game that I really, really want to go back to playing, and probably when the DLC is released in a few months or in next year, actually early next year, I'll probably replay that game. So we should wrap things up though.
Yep.
Thanks for joining us on this nice but a little on the warm side Tuesday. Tomorrow's going to be a bit hotter. We're getting back into some higher temps, but not as crazy as last week.
Yeah, it's still
Holy
going to be
shit,
around
last week
90 and I'll be out on the golf course. So,
yeah, last week was horrible, but at least it's not too bad today, and the next couple of days. But
yeah, Moana comes out
still
Friday
gonna be
too.
high. Well, yes, that's right. Moana, the live action version of Moana with
Yeah.
with Dwayne Johnson reprising his role as Maui.
Maui.
I gotta say, I liked Moana. I liked the animated version. I would imagine I'd probably like the live action version. I do like Dwayne Johnson as a performer.
I want Alan Tudyk to play
Still
chicken.
play the chicken?
Yeah.
I would think that needs to happen. I'm a little more specific as to which Disney films I buy and to add to my collection.
Anyway,
So,
sorry. I didn't mean to
so
distract, but
that's fine.
we were saying
But
about
anyways,
it,
thanks
that
for
was one
joining
of
us,
the
guys. We
last things.
will not be back at the game table this Friday.
We will
because
not be
played
back
last Friday.
next Tuesday either.
Why not?
I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. I did not realize that. Okay, so we will not be back next Tuesday.
Yeah.
I will be leaving town on Thursday morning, so I didn't think that would be a problem. But
Yeah, I wasn't thinking
week,
about it until today, actually, when I was like, oh shit, yeah, I'm not going to be here next week because I get to be in the weather like we had last week down in Florida.
Where in Florida are you going to be?
I'll be in Palm Bay for 2.5 days and then Orlando for 2.5 days.
Okay. Well,
the first I fly into Orlando, drive to Palm Bay, be there Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday morning-ish around lunch, probably I'll head back to Orlando and I'll finish out the week there. I fly home on Friday.
It just sucks because whenever you go to these trips, I know that there's probably not a whole lot of time or energy for you to do any like sightseeing or doing anything fun.
Oh no, I don't do any of that. I go out, I work, I go out to get some food, I go back to my hotel room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
partially because I want to go into air conditioning. Now, when I'm in Tampa, there's a bunch of different restaurants in that area, so there's a bunch to go to down there.
Tampa's got some great eating areas. They've got a couple of casinos. They got a screaming crap ton of strip bars. Or you could go to Ybor City. The Ybor City's
I don't need to drive. I get to my hotel, I walk around. Like when I'm staying in Orlando, I'm walking distance to the office.
Oh, sure. And in Orlando too, depending on where you're staying, there's a lot of
I'm in downtown Orlando.
There's stuff within walking distance in a lot of places. Yeah. I mean, Orlando is largely the theme parks, but there's other things too.
I'm right by whatever that park is in right in the middle of downtown.
But yeah, Tampa actually does have, let alone just the beaches. Like if you want to go and just watch the sunset, there's some really great stuff.
Nope, I don't leave the area.
It's too bad. It's too bad. As much of a dumpster fire as Florida is, it does have. There are a lot of pretty places to see and
Russ would go to a strip bar.
Hey, you know what? Tampa has the highest number of strip clubs per capita than any city in the entire country. So the city of Tampa and its surrounding environs. So it's one of those things it's kind of known for. It's known for adult entertainment. And
anyway, let's get out of here.
So. But Tampa, it's just too bad. I always feel bad for you that you never get to ever go anywhere and see anything when you go on these trips. So anyways, guys, thanks for joining us again. So we will not be back in the Nerd Basement next week. We'll have to take a break, but we'll be back the following week. Looks like we're going dark for just an extra week right now, not like the month of May that we had to take off. Thanks for joining us. You can find us at all the places you can find quality podcasting. And just tell all your friends about us because we could definitely use more support.
Yeah, you can follow us on most social medias. We're on Facebook, Nerds with Alcohol Show, and pretty much everywhere else, Drinking Nerds. And watch for Drinking Nerds Entertainment to be coming soon. And I'll make an announcement once I'm actually ready. I'm getting really close to being able to truly launch. So I'll put something out once we actually are up and working. So all right. Well, I think that's gonna about do it. What?
That should do it.
Until next time.
Slainte.
All right. Have a good week, everybody.
Good night.